Welcome to another installment of Faith Stories from the past 20 years. I'm really excited today for you to be able to get to know Karen Vandervoort a little better. We actually call her TK, and she is currently serving in Zambia full-time, but she's actually been with our ministry full-time for over 15 years. She was the first one to take a desk officially at Heart of the Bride. And she's been a servant and a mentor as well to kids, to partners, to long-term, short-term, intern missionaries with our organization all over the world. And she's just loved by many people. She's had a personal impact on my faith journey and is a great friend. So I'm excited for you to know her better through this short interview. And also, I want to mention, as we're talking about Zambia, that God is really at work there. She shares a little bit about what some of their vision is for the future. Got a great team there, but also they're in construction right now for a second residential home on the property, along with all the other things that are going on. So we're just encouraged by that and look forward to showing you some reports soon about the opening of that home and when new kids are going to be brought into that full-time program. One other thing, check out that link below to our brand new mobile website that our development director, Michael Anderson, has been working hard on. It looks great. It's not only mobile friendly, but it's just got a fresh face to it. And it's a great way for you to engage get other people engaged with our ministry and introduce them. So take advantage of that and enjoy checking that out. All right, here's our talk with TK in Zambia.
Can you tell us a little bit about that story, how this was happening, the beginning of this ministry, and how this intersected in your life to get you to the place that you had a desk there before I did?
Actually, I was teaching at Niceville High School, and at one point, when contracts were supposed to be signed, I felt like the Lord saying next year I would not be teaching at Niceville High School, so not to sign the contract. And when I asked him what would I be doing, there was not much he was saying except that I felt like I sensed, okay, I'm going to go in and out of the country. And so, yeah, one day Tony came up to me and he said, "Hey, I heard you didn't sign your contract." And I said, "I didn't." And so, what is he speaking to you? Which is a Tony question. And I said, "Well, I don't know. Probably just that I will be going in and out of the country." And so Tony basically said, "Well, come talk to me."
Have I got a deal for you?
Yes.
No.
And so, yeah, that's basically it. I went home and prayed about it. And even though I didn't know really much about the organization or what we would be doing, since it didn't even have an office, but I just felt like the Lord saying this is something that I needed to be a part of. And so that's kind of how that went.
Well, and what's awesome to me about that is just that for the first many years, you were the backbone of the ministry, and TK did do exactly that. As we continued to expand the countries we were working in, she had a presence in every place as a supporter and encourager, and really a mentor to people who were doing the work. So there's people all over the world who have a real personal connection with you. But I want to. You're full time in Zambia now, so and this was one of the places you had been coming. So how many years ago did you land here full time?
2011.
Okay, so
Yeah,
7 years. Yeah, and so what caused you to? For me, I was glad to bless that, but I was also sad that you weren't going to be helping me in the way that you were. So I want to just hear a little bit from you. What did God do in your life to cause you to go, this is where I need to plant?
I think when I was working in the office in the base, home base, at one point, probably a year before actually Tony brought this proposition, I felt like the Lord saying, okay, you're going to go back full-time overseas, which I really didn't want to do in so many ways, because I told the Lord after Indonesia, I'm never going overseas full-time. But he began changing my heart to where I actually desired that. And I didn't know where it was going to be, but we were on a mission trip to Zambia, and right there and then he asked me the question and said, I want you to consider moving here to Zambia. And it was like automatically right on the spot, yes, that's fine. because I felt like that the Lord had already prepared me for that.
Well, I want to, I know when you came, you were willing to do anything, but there was a plan for some things you would be doing, and shortly after you got here, realized that that wasn't going to be the plan anymore. And the circumstances here on the ground changed a lot. So I want you to tell everybody what you did wind up doing for several years, and then and how you came to the decision that that was God calling you to do that.
Yeah, it's the same way. I think how God speaks to me ahead of time. I was in Zambia. I was doing things, um, but at a certain point, I felt like the Lord just really impressing on my heart that I would have my own vineyard. And though I did not know what that was going to look like, I could feel it. I could feel what that was going to be. And it got so intense that at one point I was like, take it away, Lord, because everything I'm doing right now is fine. I'm being obedient to what I'm being asked to do, but this is not it for me. You know, whatever you have put in my heart, or at least I think you put in my heart, this is not fitting it. And it got to be painful at one point to where I just said, if I need you to take this away because I'm doubting it's even you, you know, because it's not coming to pass. And there again, you know, I didn't know what it was going to look like, but then all of a sudden we wind up in a situation with Abba's heart where we had to open a home for boys immediately, and I was like, that's it, you know. It's like, and even said, okay, we need a house parent, and I go, well, that's me. And I think even Candace was thinking, okay, she's going to be there in the daytime, and maybe she's going to go home at night and things like that. I'm going, no, I'm talking about being there full time, living with the boys,
Really being their mom.
being their mom.
And
So
that was for how many years?
I think that was close to 4 somewhere
years.
around there.
And this was a house with 3 bedrooms. You got a tiny bedroom. How many boys were in the house at one time?
I started with 12.
And all from the streets, and they had shared one bathroom. So that's,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
that's real
we had a
missionary
little
stuff.
bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, so, you know, that is a phase that obviously was so important in their lives, and you've been a part of their life in such a huge way, and have begun to do other things with the ministry at this point, still continuing to invest in their life. But I'm just thankful that, same thing I've been telling other people, that you said yes, you were willing to listen to my questions that I don't feel like were coming from me, weren't scared of them, and that you've been an example of faith in this journey that we're getting to celebrate together, because God's not done.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to ask you one more question, because I'm asking other people, what is burning in your heart that you feel like is such a desire for what you want God to do in the future through Papa's heart or part of the bride or whatever?
On the field of Abba's heart, I think it's neat that our whole team is sensing that God wants to expand, and mostly in the street, because I think there's a huge need there that we are not meeting, but we can meet, and maybe differently from what we're doing right now, but just as successful, I think, because I think God's in it, and that is just having a place in town where we can um, disciple young men that are still, and women, but mostly men at this point, you know, young men that are on the street, but also give them skill training and counseling and soul care, and get them off the street without putting them through our residential program.
I love that, and I got to just earlier this week, you know, kind of drive by that, do some praying over it, and as a potential property. And I know that there's some money that's been given in faith toward that. It's not finished, so I'm believing it's going to happen. Looking forward to having a video about that one day.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, TK.